Hello and welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable. I'm Jake Caton. This is Caton Marsh, and we have some guests in the studio today. Mr. Carson Campbell and Miss Julia McKee here to talk because we've got a lot to talk about. We've missed a lot since our last show last semester. We've got some football action. The Xbox Bowl happened, first ever Xbox Bowl actually. We had some volleyball action, NCAA tournament action. We've had a lot of basketball happen over the break, and we have some baseball to talk about finally. I'm very excited about that. I'd like to give a quick shout out to our technicians, Aiden and Timmy, who have put together all of this wonderful new cameras. That's kind of what we've been waiting on. Some great new equipment here in the studio today.
Should be nice and crisp.
Oh yes, I sure hope so. So big shout out and a big thank you to them. Stay tuned here on Red Wolf Roundtable as we are about to talk about a lot of Red Wolf sports.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
One of our favorite sports to talk about so far this semester, or last semester, has been volleyball. Volleyball season is over yet, but we missed the very tail end of it when we got out for Christmas break. Sun Belt Conference Tournament champions are our Lady Red Wolves. They won big, and they went to the NCAA tournament. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, as always, they kind of ran the table. I mean, it was kind of expected. And past season, they looked really good. That continued to postseason. And with flying colors, they made it to the NCAA tournament, in which they played Baylor. They went neck and neck with Baylor. Unfortunately, we lost in the fifth set, 15-10, as Julia was mentioning in this break. But overall, I mean, this season was really successful. We didn't give enough flowers, I guess, as a school to this volleyball team with how good they are. We covered them a lot because, as you said, they're one of our favorite sports to cover. But very undervalued team. I think one of our best sports at our college, played an amazing season. You guys have any notes that you would like to?
I like to say this volleyball team impresses me, but I'm not surprised. Like, not that I expect them to be this great, but I kind of do because they've just been on a roll lately, especially coming in from regular season champs last semester or season into this season being great. And like we said, they played an amazing game against Baylor. Each set was 23-25, 20-25, 28-30, longest set ever. They did phenomenal, so excited. I know our coaches are out of town right now recruiting, and I can't wait to see what they do next.
Absolutely. Carson, you have anything?
Yeah, just to add on that, coaching changes are happening right now. It's going to be interesting to see if we can keep that momentum. Like Julie said, we go from regular season champs 2 years ago, last season, then last season, this past season against Baylor. Baylor's a powerhouse. They're a Big 12 team. That's a big school. Played them well. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can build on that momentum, even with these coaches changing around the country, players leaving, transfer portal. Let's just see how everything goes, and hopefully next season, same as next or last season.
On that topic, our assistant coach, Coach Gibbs, just got a assistant coaching job at Michigan.
Yeah.
So snaps to him.
So he's
sad, but can't be mad,
And players loved him, so it's going to
yes.
be interesting if players can, rally around that, see how you never know how things happen when coaches change.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna lose a little bit of talent here in the offseason. Some star power. Daedriana Kale graduates. Yasmin Billings, Peyton Van Veen, will be leaving. Abby Harris, Valeria Ortiz transfers to San Antonio. So we've got some talent that's leaving the program, but hopefully in this transfer portal and through the recruiting process, we will have some talent coming into the program as well.
We got some people that played. I think Carlin came in. She was a freshman. I believe, did Maya come in every now and then? And then one of our freshmen, Parker Stern, she's 6'3", so I think she can kind of take over that Deidreana Kale role. Obviously, Deidreana Kale was a monster.
Big
and she'll
shoes to fill.
be,
Yes.
yeah, there's a reigning power at Arkansas State, so hopefully someone can pick it up very well. But we keep a lot of talent. Thankfully, there wasn't a lot of transfers outside of Valeria, but we keep Caitlin, who's dominant in the kill game. We keep Libby, who's great at defending. We keep Mia, and we keep Haley. So we have the height up front, and we have the star power at the defensive end. So obviously we lose one of the cornerstones of Arkansas State, but I think that role can be filled.
Absolutely. The final record for the season for the Lady Red Wolves was 22-9 with a 15-4 conference record. Again, Sun Belt Conference tournament champions. Let's turn the page over to football. We missed a little bit of the tail end of the season on this one, too. The Red Wolves made the Xbox Bowl against the Missouri State Bears. Missouri State's first ever bowl game, by the way, in their first season in the FBS division of Division I. 34-28 the final score. A-State was up by a lot more than that to start the game, and then Missouri State came back a little bit. Props to our defense and props to Griff McCarley and what he's done the entire season, but also in this game. Offensive player of the game, Corey Rucker, 6 catches, 166 yards and 1 touchdown.
Not even close to a surprise. He was pretty much our only offensive mover, and well, here's his career stats at Arkansas State. He left his mark, that's for sure. He is one of the only receivers in NCAA to eclipse 4,000 yards for his career. These are obviously his career stats at Arkansas State. He spent a little time at South Carolina, so some of these stats might be a little off, but he led the team in touchdowns, led the team in yards, came close in receptions. I believe he's second, and there's not really much to say about how great Corey, because
most of those are program records, by the way. But Corey Rucker will be missed for sure. He's been a phenomenal cornerstone in this offense for a few years here at Arkansas State.
Can I go into the Xbox Bowl a little bit?
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
I got to travel down to Dallas, and it was a long day. Obviously, you highlighted the score being 34-28. I give props to Missouri State, especially with it being their first bowl game, this being the first Xbox Bowl. It was quite televised. It was highly advertised. You saw a lot over social media. Let's just say this is what we wanted to see all year from Arkansas State. We had problems early on in the year with defense that picked up. Offense didn't look great as the year went on, and it looked great in this game. Obviously, Corey Rucker being one of the guys. Kenyon Clay had a decent day with, I believe, about 53 yards. Rayner doing his thing. And there's not much to say outside of this game was what we wanted to see all year. Unfortunately, it was just too late in the season. Yeah. We could have been fighting with JMU at the conference championship. I'm really disappointed about that because we had paved the way for it, and it was our fault that we let it drop. But going into next season, there are a lot of questions, and we're going to pop up a graphic here about our key departures. There was quite a bit of them, one of them being our own quarterback, Jalen Rayner, going to Iowa State, Tyler Fortenberry following him, Cody Sigler, the monster at defensive line, going to Auburn, Drew Collins going to South Carolina, and some other guys that we need to know, Aaron Alexander filling in Javante Mackey when he left, Trenton Allen Yao decided he's going to declare for the draft, but take one more year, so he left. So this defensive line is depleted. We kept Ethan Hassler and we kept Tony Carter, which both of them played a pivotal role at the very end of the season, as well as Ryan Reese. But there's a lot of questions to be had. It's a pretty exciting season. We saw Keith Heckendorf also go to Iowa State.
Yeah, so a lot of A-State fans had kind of been waiting on that one, considering he was the offensive coordinator from our last coach before Butch Jones, and he's been here longer than just about anybody else on the staff. He goes to, like you said, Iowa State to become the quarterback coach. A new name in A-State coaching staff would be the new offensive line coach, who was the quarterback coach at Vanderbilt. Also brought a transfer with him, a backup quarterback from.
He brought two.
I think he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So lots of movement going on in the men's college football world here at Arkansas State. Defensive player of the game, we didn't mention this, Kyle Taylor for the Xbox Bowl. Like you said, transfer portal, a lot of stuff going on here. Just across college football as a whole has been changed by this transfer portal as well. But with that, we will move into our next segment right after this break, and we'll talk about what we've missed in basketball. So stay tuned here on Red Wolf Roundtable.
Eastern Conference season.
Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get. The creativity that some of these students have is truly amazing. Getting that experience can really just take you further, and I feel like our program does that for a lot of students.
ASU-TV, covering all your favorite sports. From Red Wolf Roundtable to West Side football and more, ASU-TV has you covered. Tune in now to ASU-TV for news and coverage on these sports and more.
Welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable as we move into women's basketball. I know we've got a lot to talk about, especially Miss McKee over here. Excited to talk about it. So far, a record of 20-7. They've already got 20 wins, 11-3 in conference, and 11-1 on their home court. Crystal Rose and Zion Shannon, the two players on this team that have kind of just taken over. Zion Shannon leads the team in points this season. Crystal Rose not that far behind her. But one thing I really want to talk about is this A-State women's defense. Leads the nation in turnovers forced per game, and just turnovers forced in general, 472 on the season and 17.5 forced turnovers per game. Let's talk about this women's basketball team.
I'll let you go first. I know you've been waiting, so.
Oh my gosh, this team, they're amazing to watch. They're amazing to be around. They're so fun, and they're so into it. I like to say they're just a bunch of college kids who love basketball. You know what I'm saying? We talked about the turnovers. Chris leads with 69 turnovers, with 2.6 per game. That's insane. And then we talked about how she's right there with Zion Shannon. She's got 336 points this season, 12.4 per game. I like to say they get into this flow. They get a good start in the game, and then they just keep it rolling. You know, wheels don't fall off the wagon. They keep it going, whether we're on offense or we're defense or we're Mia Tarver shooting from the three-point line. They're amazing to watch.
Absolutely. Like I said, the steals is a big deal. Steals, 410 steals on the season, 15.2 steals per game for this team. Defense is just coming up clutch. I like to go back to that game where they played against Houston. 38 forced turnovers against Houston at the end of last semester, the Big 12 school, and they killed them.
I think that was the turning point as well. Like, we started off pretty slow. I know me and Caton were talking about the defensive struggles they had at the beginning of the season. Full court press wasn't.
They just didn't have the chemistry, I think.
Yeah. Chemistry wasn't there. The fight wasn't there. The dog kind of wasn't there. You know, that we had the loss at UCA, and that was just kind of like, okay, what are we going to do this season? And then Houston game, obviously. So there's ups and downs, but now I think we're at a steady flow, like Julia said, and that defense is just, it's great.
We talk about the Houston game. The Houston game was one of our two Power 5 wins. The other one coming against the University of Arkansas. Woo Pig Sue, y'all. That made my heart happy, especially after what happened during football season. Women's sports is on the rise here at Arkansas State because we also beat Arkansas in
Smacked volleyball. Yeah, smacked them in volleyball.
So the little brother in the other corner of the state getting some wins. It's quite nice to see. We talked about chemistry, and we'll move on into the men's basketball team with that one. Chemistry there has not been so great. We've seen some things for this men's basketball team that needs some work. They're 16-11 currently, 7-7, and 9-4 at home.
I'll jump into it before this guy over here starts going on a tangent. But early on in the year, when we started covering them, they had a gauntlet of schedule. They played SMU, which they're dominant, and St. Mary's, and we did not perform to the standard of the previous season, and I think there was some expectation, and we didn't meet it at that point. Then we went on break, and it seemed like it completely turned around. There were some names that we didn't really talk about that started coming in and playing a role, such as TJ Caldwell, and Jalen Hampton played a role. We're starting to see a little bit of Chudy Diorama. Royal Blue Smith started playing. I know that he was one of your favorite players, so he started getting some minutes. And then now we're back to the show, and things kind of seem to take a step back. And I'm going to highlight the South Alabama game, in which that was our most recent game that we've played. And let's just say that was a very disappointing one. It was a great game overall if you're a fan watching, because it was raining threes. Christian Harmon dropped in over 30 that game. But defensive struggles have remained time and time again. There was a play in particular in the first half that really stood out to me. It was Harmon by the three-point area, and I can't remember who else it was, but they were at the top of the key, and there was someone in the corner. There was some miscommunication. They left him open, and he shot wide open, no one stepping up, and he made it, of course, because South Alabama is really good this year. Yeah. And overall, I think that has been the issue. I think the centers, obviously, need to step up.
That was one of the things I was going to point out. Our paint presence is not as strong as it needs to be, especially for Sun Belt Conference play. Yeah. Paint presence, and when I say paint presence, I mean on offense and defense. The defensive rebounds are not coming as they should. Need to be a little bit more aggressive beneath the basket for sure.
We were up 15, by the way.
18.
And, 18, my
we were
bad.
Up 18 with 6 minutes left, and we lost in overtime.
So at what point, and I know this is just, at what point is it coaching strategy and not the players? Because
it could be a little bit of both.
And I think it is both. And here's the argument that I was hearing at the beginning of the season is, well, it's a new team, completely new team, transfers everywhere, okay? So if we're going to say that, you have to look at teams around the country that also have that issue. They're meshing at this point in the season. So I'm fine with that at the beginning of the season. Okay, it takes time to mesh. I understand that. You have players like Christian Harmon who are now, I would say the star of the team.
The cornerstone?
The cornerstone of the team. We haven't had that so far, but I think it's safe to say he's the cornerstone of this team. Everybody else is around him at this point. But at what point do we say, okay, we can't use that excuse that it's a transfer portal thing at this point, because they've had time to mesh. They've had months of basketball together. They've had conference play together. So at what point do we say, okay, what do we need to change about this team? What can we do to not choke a 18-point lead against the number 3 team in the conference, which would be a huge win, by the way.
At home, too.
We were favored.
So it's like, and again, fouling 3 up 4. If you're going to foul right there, foul before he shoots the ball, or just don't foul. So, there's just things that, I'm unhappy with that team. Obviously, expectations weren't – could we agree that expectations aren't as high as they were last year maybe? Sure. But I think
we were picked to finish second in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, 500 in conference is not where I think we expected to be at this point in the season. So –
You're exactly right. There are guys who are falling into their roles, but the roles don't know how to play well with other roles.
Yeah.
Yes. I do want to point out really quickly, and South Al didn't do it at the beginning of the game, but they did it in the second half closer to the end. And that's when they started playing full court press. We had big time struggles. We couldn't pass the ball. We couldn't shoot the ball. They were pressing us out of their minds. and it was working. So to see that and how far we crumbled in a game that we were up so big, it's concerning, especially with 4 games left, because with these 4 games left, they can watch that film in that second half and realize this team falls under pressure.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any pressure. Let's just say that there wasn't any. So when there is, what is that going to happen? And
I need to see. I know he's a freshman. I need to see more royal blue.
I do too.
Just because this has been a problem the entire season. Ball handling. I know we have guards, but like, do we have ball handlers on this team? I don't. I think royal blue is the closest thing we've seen since Caleb Fields, and I think we need to build on him.
Yeah, yeah.
Him and
As a
Christian-
freshman, we have the chance to do that in the upcoming seasons if he decides to stay.
If he stays, which
I think
who
he
knows,
does. I
but-
think he has the clear line to start at guard next year.
Yeah.
With some of the guys that are obviously a little bit older that transferred in from other schools, one of them being Chandler Jackson. So I think he has a pretty clear line to start, and he's an exciting player.
He is.
He's a big playmaker. He's not selfish. He's not going to pull a Taryn Todd. Let's
And
just
he
say
can
that.
handle the ball, which is, like you said, under pressure, you need someone that can take care of the ball.
Yeah.
And royal blue, even though he's a freshman, I think he's the best ball handler we have, even over Chandler Jackson.
Play him against Hewlin. I think.
Yeah.
That's
What do you have
something.
to lose? Yeah.
All right. Well, Christian Harmon does lead the team in points per game this season, 13.2 points per game. Like we've
monster.
kind of highlighted, this team has not played super well in conference, not as well as we thought they have. And hopefully these last 4 games will be the gauntlet that we need to launch us into Sun Belt tournament play. We'll be right back as we talk about some current events coming up. That will be baseball season. So we'll be right back to talk about my favorite time of the year here on Red Wolf Roundtable.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
Welcome back here on Red Wolf Roundtable as the Red Wolf baseball team is making some moves, making some noise here in the first week of the season. They sweep Stony Brook to open the season in 3 games. That happened this past weekend. Miss Julia McKee was there. I believe you were there as well, weren't you?
Yeah, it was pure dominance.
Yes,
It was, oh my gosh, amazing to watch.
So let's talk about this team. We'll get to the player of the week here in a moment, but let's talk about this team and what we saw versus Stony Brook so far.
Okay, so like we talk about on all of our teams, we have so many brand new faces. Baseball is one of our teams where we brought in a lot of new pitchers and we brought a lot of new start infielders. They did amazing against Stony Brook. We started the game really hot. It was 9-8 in the first game. We kind of gave up the lead a little bit, but then we picked up the momentum. We brought in Houston Tomlinson at the end, pitching higher 90s, and he did phenomenal. And then we ended up doing a doubleheader on Friday, and that first game took a while. 8-9, it was a really good game to watch. We took a little 45-minute break, and then we came into the second game, and we won 4-0. That was really good. That was a quick win. We were in and out. As Coach said in between, he said, let's go to work, let's get this, and let's go home. We went in, we got that, and then Sunday turned around and played them again. and did amazing as well. Momentum didn't stop. This team is meshing phenomenally. I think they know their roles and they're playing to each other's strengths. They're there when someone falls, as in Jalen Fox tweaking his knee. As soon as that happened, Cross was in there to pick up for him, and then same thing happened at Ole Miss. He tweaked his knee again, and Cross jumped in, and then I think it was Jake Henry Williams that came in for Cross at the end. But yeah, they're doing amazing.
We had, I didn't mention this earlier, we had 2 selections for Sun Belt Conference, all Sun Belt team in the preseason. Ashton Quiller, of course, he's done really good so far in the first 4 games of the season. And also Patrick Eanskov, who is also another one that from last year who did really well last year.
We also had a freshman Sun Belt player.
All Sun Belt.
Yes.
It was Derek Martinez.
Want to talk about one of the players from this Stony Brook series, Mr. Lane Walton, the sophomore. What a performance from Lane Walton. So far, batting average of .417, a .1250 slugging percentage, 3 home runs and 6 RBIs. In the series against Stony Brook, he was 5 for 12, 6 runs, 3 home runs, 3 RBIs. This young man has done phenomenal things so far in his first few games for the Red Wolves. Lane Walton is doing things that we haven't seen done here at Arkansas State in the past few seasons.
This is the power hitter that we've been missing. Last year, it was kind of hit or miss. We had Will French. He was an amazing player, and I think Quiller's kind of picked up that Will French role. And then Lane Walton is obviously one of your favorite players. Really made it to where we can score when Quiller gets that leadoff single or double, and he just bats it in, whether that be over the fence or a deep double. And then other players like Ingsgoff, he's played really well this season so far. Derek has played really well. K1 has played really well. Bats are flying. That's not something normally that we would say, that's for sure. It was a lot better last year compared to years past, and I think it's kind of improved even more. We had 11 hits last night against Ole Miss. We had 12 against Stony Brook. Not the whole series, of course, but the last game, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
But, okay.
No, I said you're on. Like you're on point. I apologize.
You're wrong.
No,
Okay.
wow. I said you're on. You got it.
We've had some early on fielding issues that I think will be cleaned up, but this A-State baseball team, completely different. That Ole Miss team was ranked 16th in the nation. They're
wowzers.
They're really good. So to go into the bottom of the 9th, tied with them, that's an accomplishment, and I think that's going to set us up really, really far for the future. I think it raises a lot of positives for us, that's for sure.
It's exciting to see, these sports that aren't, your main sports of the school are doing really well. We've mentioned bowling, volleyball,
tennis,
rugby.
Tennis went 7.
I know rugby's it's a club sport, but rugby's always been dominant. Like these sports, I'm glad to see are
the ones that don't get as much coverage should be getting coverage right now.
Yeah, and I hope baseball. Genuinely, and the Sun Belt is a baseball conference.
Oh yes,
especially
and so A-State has a chance to do something, not only in the conference but on a world in a country stage.
I think Arkansas State, with how they're playing right now in non-conference play, once they go into the Sun Belt Conference, they're going to be prepared for what they have to face.
For teams like Coastal.
3 teams that were ranked last season in the top 25: Troy, Southern Miss, and Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina made the College Baseball World Series final against
They're top
LSU.
10 right now.
Yes, they are. Coastal Carolina, they're dogs. They're dogs.
Yeah.
They're a great team. I think Arkansas State has the stuff right now to finish at best, probably about 5th in
top
the Sun
5.
Belt Conference.
Which is a huge improvement.
It is, because
We
we
were
are
middle of the
picked to
pack.
finish 9th this year.
Yeah.
Last year we were picked to finish last. And last year we finished, I believe, 7th.
Yeah, we were
in the
middle of the
Sun Belt.
pack.
Which should be an improvement from 7th from last year. So hopefully top 5, top 4.
Yeah, with how we're playing right now.
Yeah.
Mike Silva is doing phenomenal things here for the Arkansas State Red Wolves baseball team, and I cannot wait to see what this season holds for them. I want to talk a little bit about, because I know you two are. Did you go to the Ole Miss game?
Yeah.
I did.
All right, you two were at the Ole Miss game last night in Oxford, Mississippi. I want to know what y'all saw, because this is one that we've kind of talked about, but we haven't highlighted it. So
No,
talk
I
about
started last time you go.
what you talked about, saw at Ole Miss.
we were making Ole Miss's pitchers. They were getting shelled. They were struggling big time. Obviously, we didn't have any out of the park, unfortunately, but we saw pretty much everybody get a hit last night. There was a lot of strategy that went into it. I like the bunting strategy that they have. They know the players that we have.
Small ball. That's some 1982 Cardinals Whitey Herzog stuff.
They got some speed. Ole Miss made some big mistakes early on. I think they had Matt Stoltz was talking about it last night. 5 errors in the first 3 innings,
It was
which
5-1.
It was bad. But overall, there's so much to say from what we saw last night carrying over into conference and the rest of our non-conference play. Lots of positives. If you haven't watched the game, I highly recommend watching it. It was a great one. It was really offensive, and I know a lot of people complain about baseball not being super offensive. This is the game to watch if you like offense for baseball. So overall, Quiller played amazing. We got Lane Walton. We saw Derek play well. We saw K1 play well. Ingsco played amazing. I'm sure there's more that you would like to talk about.
There is. So our batting was phenomenal against Ole Miss. Like Caton said, everybody swung their bat. We had a lot of RBIs. And I want to take a second to talk about Aiden Houseworth. There was a time where we did not think that man was going to put the uniform on again. He had a bunch of knee injuries, and I say injuries as in plural. We played Stony Brook, and he hit one out of the park, and he came in the dugout, and he was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. And I'm like, look at you now. We're at Ole Miss, and he hits a double. He comes into the dugout. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. And I was like, look how far you've come. You know, I'm really glad to see you back out there. That was a really big moment for him and a really big for the team. That really boosted the morale. We did have a lead against Ole Miss majority of the game, and this was right about when it was tied up. So that was really what the team needed to kind of power them through the last inning. That was phenomenal. Like Caton said, Ashton Quiller did phenomenal out in center.
Oh, he made some great plays.
Oh, some amazing ones. Derek, our freshman, starting at first, he did great. Evan Griffiths was pretty much the player of the game. He was getting so much action out there and right. We were like, you're getting all this action out there, you need to hit one out there. And sure enough, he hits one out there and gets a double. So
Evan Griffiths was one that I had highlighted for the day, yes.
I can't believe I forgot them.
Yes, they all did amazing. Our pitchers did phenomenal. We did a couple face-offs where we brought in Isaac Sewell for one batter and Cooper Garrison for one batter. Bases loaded, Coop Garrison does 3 strikes, 1 ball, bat over. Like, that was phenomenal. He came in at the time that the team needed, and again, that was really what boosted the morale and had the dugout hollering. That is what they needed at that time.
Mike Silva had the fans upset.
Oh, yeah.
It was a long game. That game took them almost about 3.5 hours, and each time they had a mound meeting, they voiced their opinions, that's for sure.
I do want to highlight one last thing. We talked about the offense of this Arkansas State team, and we saw a little bit of this towards the end of last season, the pitching quality improving. Last season, you know, we had some younger pitchers come in last season, 9 shutout innings in a few games. I want to talk about what you've seen from the pitching so far this season.
I want it to improve. Once again, it's too early on in the season to truly tell. I think against Stony Brook, especially Game 2 and Game 3, that looked really good. Game 1 was a little rough, but obviously that was first game of the season, so what can you say? And then Ole Miss, what you were just talking about, the fact that we got out of a situation where we had bases loaded and 0 outs at the bottom of the inning, and Mike Silva, being the mastermind he is, pitchers played great in that situation. It was a lot of pressure because we had one where it was knocked into the outfield and it was caught, but if that thing dropped, that was scoring 3, 100%, and that would have put Ole Miss up big time at the top of the 9th for us. But to be in a situation in an SEC school that's known for baseball and bases loaded, 0 outs, these pitchers played really well. I can't say enough for the fact that they performed in that type of moment, especially when we don't have a crowd that's as loud and voices their opinions. And I don't know if there is any schools that they travel to that have that same atmosphere. So there was a lot of pressure put on them.
They'll travel to Arkansas next week.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I'm excited to see it.
That's true.
Yep.
Cater's a little split on that one, I think.
I'm excited, especially
I'll
with
be
our
rooting
pitchers.
for the Red Wolves on that one.
Well, because
I always root for the underdog usually.
we we have a lot of veteran pitchers. We've got Chase Richter, we've got Cole Turner, and then we've also got 6th-year Dylan Farley from. He was at Nichols, and then he came to Delta State, and then he came here. We've got a lot of veterans who are really good at what they do. And then we also have a lot of brand new faces like Ryan Ashford. And this is Cooper Garrison's 2nd season, but he even came in and, like I said, did a phenomenal job. So we've got new faces and then new to this season, didn't really get a lot of playing time last season. But we've got those veterans and then our new faces that are really meshing well together. And so I'm excited to see them go on.
Hey, Julia, quick question. Is Jack Hibbard good?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure because he was the freshman that pitched 2 complete games last year, so I haven't seen him yet, at least.
I say he's been getting some time in the bullpen, so his time will come, and I'm excited to see it.
That's a name that we should watch out for.
All right, Jack Hibbard will definitely be watching this A-State baseball team the rest of this season because I, for one, am really interested to see what they have to show. That's it for us today on Red Wolf Roundtable. Jacob Cater, Caton Marsh, Julian McKee, and Carson Campbell bringing it to you. A-State Sports, everything A-State Sports. We'll see you next week here from Arkansas State University.